Hey guys, welcome back to the Ultimate Goosebumps Man channel, and today I've got a pretty exciting video for you guys. Judging by a poll I recently put out on my community posts, a lot of you guys wanted me to do another monster ranking video, and the Slappy ranking video I did was easily my most successful video on the channel, so I figured why not, let's do another one, and today I'm going to be ranking every version of the Haunted Mask. Specifically, Carly Beth's mask, or in terms of the Disney Plus show, Isabella's mask. So yeah, I'm gonna be ranking all those today, just for the fun of it. I know, again, the Slappy ranking video was so popular. I'm gonna bring you guys another one because you clearly seem to have liked that. So yeah, I'm gonna do it again with the Haunted Mask, another iconic Goosebumps monster, probably most iconic after Slappy. And you know, everyone loves it. The book is great, episode is great, just everything about Haunted Mask is great, aside from a couple, which most of us fans probably know what's gonna be the worst. I think it's fairly obvious. I think a lot of Goosebumps fans will simultaneously agree on my bottom rankings. Now, in terms of the criteria, the only things that's gonna be kind of specific is that when I talk about the Disney Plus masks, I'm going to be talking about both versions. The initial form of the mask and the final form of the mask. And yeah, you'll see those pretty soon. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of get right into it. Just talk about the Haunted Mask. Again, one of my all-time favorite Goosebumps monsters. It's timeless. It's a timeless story. You know, Carly Beth is a great character, and yeah, I'm excited to talk more about the book and episode itself when I get to those reviews. But right now, we're just going to talk about the masks. So, starting off at my number 7, the bottom of the barrel, worst mask design. I think all of us can agree it is the Disney Plus Troll Mask. So basically the final form of the Haunted Mask that Isabella wears in the show when it takes over and turns her into a literal troll. It looks terrible. The mask looks awful. It literally looks like a Gollum ripoff. I think a lot of people have mentioned that, but I'm going to continue saying that because I also agree. Yeah, it looks like a ripoff of Gollum from Lord of the Rings. It really does. It's got the stringy hair, the pale skin tone, bulbous bald head. And it's just so disappointing because in a little interview that Rob Letterman had, he had said that the final form of the mask would look more like the original book cover version. So all of us fans were expecting something like this, or even like this. But no, we got bootleg Gollum, and it's bad. It's really bad, and very insulting to all of us Haunted Mask fans out there. Pretty much everyone was pissed off at that. And I was one of those. And also the CGI and the transformation looked awful. It was just, the Disney Plus show was a very disappointing show overall. I think a lot of us can agree on that. I personally don't think it was the worst thing ever. We could have gotten a lot worse, but it still wasn't great, and this is probably the worst thing out of the Disney Plus show was the design of the Haunted Mask. It doesn't look good. It doesn't. And that's really all I gotta say about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So, moving on to my number 6, and right behind it is the Disney Plus White Mask, as I'm calling it, or the kind of the first form of the mask, the kind of blank-faced ceramic porcelain-looking mask that it starts out as. Now, I will say, it has its moments in terms of the appearance. Like, I think the blank face, baby face looking thing doesn't look good, but when that mask smiles, I think it's creepy as heck. That smile it has is really eerie in my opinion, and it just kind of adds something to the Haunted Mask, even if they butchered it completely. But again, there are some elements I like. I like the fact that it whispers to Isabella and manipulates her. I know it's not really talking about appearance, but still, I just gotta give it out there. I gotta give at least a teeny bit of credit for the addition of it whispering to her and manipulating her. I like that concept. They kind of played in within Scream of the Haunted Mask, but yeah, that's really the only positive thing I have to say about the Disney Plus Haunted Mask. That's it. But yeah, I don't have to say much more about that, so I'm gonna move on to my number 5. And we're kind of starting to move out of the genuinely awful and starting to move into the kind of mixed, decent, middle of the road. And my number 5 is going to be the Haunted Mask from Goosebumps Horror Town, the mobile game. And, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the art style of Horror Town. It's just, I don't know, it's a little too cartoony and silly, and it's just not really my thing. I've mentioned that in my Slappy ranking video. I just don't really like the style of it. The designs of the monsters are just not that good. And the Haunted Mask is a prime example of that, because you don't even know, you wouldn't guess that Carly Beth is wearing it, because the body looks very slouched. It looks almost masculine, which is a bit weird. I don't know why they did that, but the mask in Horror Town is very kind of like a cartoonized version of the mask from the movies, but with some more prominent like features like this. I think it's like the lower jawline with the teeth. Again, I can't remember off the top of my head the exact look of it, but it just doesn't really look that good in my opinion. Again, the overly cartoony art style doesn't really help much, and the way they decided to draw Carly Beth underneath, it just didn't look right, and I just didn't like it all that much. Which moves on to my number 4. And my number 4 spot goes to the movie design for the Haunted Mask from the 2015 Goosebumps movie. I have a lot to say about this one because I am pissed off that the movie did not include the Haunted Mask more. Don't get me wrong, I love the Goosebumps movie. I think it's really fun. But the Haunted Mask barely being in it was a shame. It really was. I don't understand why they didn't include it more in the movie. It's one of the most iconic monsters. And it's just, why? Slappy got the main focus, which it makes sense because he's the mascot of Goosebumps by this point. But the Haunted Mask is like a fan favorite, and so the fact that the movie didn't focus on it and instead chose to focus on things like the abominable snowman at Pasadena is lame, in my opinion. It seems like a lot of the monsters, and I've kind of mentioned this with Goosebumps Completionist in a few conversations with him, and he's kind of brought this up, but it seems like the movie focused mainly on the monsters that could be created with CG. You know, the snowman, the werewolf, the mantis, the gnomes, all of the main monsters that got focused in the movie, aside from the graveyard ghouls, were CG. And all the practical monsters that look really good got pushed to the back and became background characters so that they didn't have to waste a bunch of money. Or not waste, you shouldn't say waste, it really wasn't a waste, it shouldn't have been anyway. They didn't have to spend the money on the practical stuff, because CG is cheaper. Even again, I think the practical stuff looks great. It's such a shame because there's so many good monsters in the movie that are in the backgrounds that have such great designs, like the creeps, the scarecrow, the jack-o'-lanterns, you know, Prince Karoo. All of these really cool practical monsters got pushed to the wayside to favor CG, and it's so dumb, and that ticks me off. But anyway, enough with the mini rant. The Haunted Mask in the Goosebumps movie is very derivative of the mask from the 90s show. You know, it has a lot of the same features, you know, the veiny kind of, I don't know, olive green skin tone, the smaller teeth, the bigger head, the kind of deformed ears and stuff. Like, you can tell it's very obviously designed after the 90s show mask, but worse. I personally wish they would have gone more accurate to the book, kind of like you'll hear on my thoughts of the 90s show mask. I wish they would have gone more accurate to the book description, but it is what it is. The mask still looks fine, it's not bad, at least it was practical. It wasn't CG or anything like that. And yeah, that's again all I gotta say about that one. So, moving on to my number 3. and this may shock some of you people, but my number 3 is the mask from the original 90s show. Yeah, leave all the hate comments down there. I know you're gonna send them. But, yeah, the original 90s show Haunted Mask, don't get me wrong, I love it. My top 3, I love them all. But the 90s show mask is my number 3, mainly because of the fact that it's not very accurate to the book description. Now there are things that are, it has the bulbous bald head, it's got the sharp teeth, it's got the kind of furrowed brow, the smashed in nose, it's got some of the stuff, and I love the 90s show mask. Again, don't get me wrong, I actually got the chance to see a physical version of that at Spirit Halloween this year, and it looked great. It's so cool to see it, and I still want to own it eventually. I still would like to have it in my collection. But yeah, I don't know. The 90s show Haunted Mask just isn't my overall favorite. There's a couple things I like better than it. There are some great things they do with it though. Obviously, I'm not gonna shy away from saying it. The mask is great. It has so many little details that they do throughout that 2-parter. They're so cool that they do with both Carly Beth's mask and Steve's mask in the second episode, Haunted Mask 2. But talking about the first episode, it has that really cool kind of thing of having the mask become sweaty and more shiny and looks more skin-like as Carly Beth wears it and as it fuses itself to her face and further takes her over. The teeth start becoming more realistic, which is a super cool detail. There's a lot of great stuff there, and like her eyes changing from her normal eye color to being black was really neat. There's a lot of good stuff they do with it. A lot of great stuff. But again, I feel like it's a little too far removed from the book. And again, as a stickler for book accuracy, I kind of wish they did a little bit more with it to make it more accurate to the book. But what they did with the mask in the show is still great. And most of my minor complaints are just nitpicks. I still have barely anything bad to say about the mask. I still think it's good. I love that. Also, I love the little like jagged neckline. I think that's really neat. There's a lot of good stuff. Again, nothing horrible to say about the original Haunted Mask from the 90s show. But again, my minor nitpicks do kind of get in the way. So, yeah. Alright, moving on to my number 2. My number 2 is going to shock some people. It's the Tim Jacobus one. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Again, I love it. My number 2 and number 1 are essentially tied because I love both of them dearly. And, the Tim Jacobus mask is the most iconic design for it. It's the one that introduced us all to the Haunted Mask. It wasn't the episode. It was Jacobus's art. And the art is iconic. The image of Carly Beth holding the mask up to her face is great. The sickly yellow skin of the mask looks good. The gaping mouth with the fangs, I love that, obviously. The glowing yellow eyes look great. And yeah, it's just overall a great mask design. Jacobus really knew what he was doing in designing it, as he did with pretty much every cover in the series. Like, the man kills it every single time he designed a cover. His artwork is legendary. And we all can agree on that, I feel like. And most of the time, it's irreplaceable. And again, I will say, I think Jacobus's art is perfect in every way imaginable. But in terms of my own personal bias, I do say my number 1 is actually going to be the Brandon Dorman Haunted Mask. Kind of a funny twist, because in my Slappy ranking video, I said that the Brandon Dorman Slappy was my least favorite. And now his version of the Haunted Mask is my favorite. And I will say, there's a couple things I don't like about it. I don't really like the huge, long, pointy ears. I think that looks a little weird, and then I think the skin tone's a little too saturated green. Unlike the more sickly yellow green that the Jacobus mask had and what the description had in the book. I think everything else is fantastic in Dorman's mask. In my opinion, it's the scariest. Just to imagine seeing what that mask would look like in real life haunts me. Like, I feel like that mask could be terrifying if brought into a hyper-realistic design format. And I really like what he did with like the sharp needle teeth. I think that looks great. A lot more intimidating than Jacobus's teeth, which like has 4 big fangs and then a bunch of little teeth. You know, I kind of like I like the way he drew like the bulbous head. It looks really nice. Again, I just like it a lot. I really do. Nothing to take away from Jacobus's art. As I said, 1 and 2 are tied for me. I love them both equally. And yeah, I really don't have much else to say. I just think Dorman's design knocked it out of the park, really. It's probably his best design for the monsters that we've gotten. Most of his stuff is really goofy and cartoony, like the shrunken head, Slappy, the werewolf, all those things. But his design for the Haunted Mask is fantastic, in my opinion. And his design for the Old Man Mask and Haunted Mask 2's cover is even better. And again, I'll get to that. I do plan to do a ranking video of the Old Man masks from Haunted Mask 2 in a future video. So, yeah, look out for that one, because I will be making it. But, yeah, that's my Haunted Mask ranking, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I thank you guys all for watching it and for participating in the little poll I did. I'm just really glad to see you guys engaging the channel, and I've mentioned this in my previous video collabing with Goosebumps Aussie Fan, but thank you guys all for 100 subscribers. It really means a lot to me that you guys are interested in the channel and that it's growing, and I just appreciate every one of you guys, and I owe you guys a lot. So, yeah, I want to keep making videos that you guys like to watch, and once again, I want to thank you for watching this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe the video if you haven't done so yet, and yeah, I really don't have much else to say. Just thank you guys for watching, and please share your rankings of these masks down below. I would love to see what you guys think of the Haunted Mask designs, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.